Okay, so let's see if we can do this in one take. It's no script. There might be a little bit of rambling up um over time, and we'll see where we can go from there. Now, I've been playing Lost Ark for over since the start. And I mean like since the NA start, since it started in Korea. I played there, I got banned a couple times, and then I moved to the RU version, played there, didn't go too heavy on the game, and then NA came in my region. I've been going heavy on the game ever since. Now, prior to this, I don't think people understand, or the devs already understand, the kind of struggle it is for a lot of these free to play players. Now, most of you could come out and say you're not doing the game as much as effectively as much. I've done everything that I could ever do in the first place in this game. Efficiently, I'm most doubly as fast as possible to get to the point I am right now. One of the things I've watched so many videos from Stoops, ATK, Saint, other Korean streamers, and so on and so forth. But one thing that I always kind of come to recognize is that some of these people are in a position where they can garner the amount of wealth that they need to play this game, i.e., like get gold and so on and so forth. Not saying that they do, but you kind of in a position where you can get a lot of stuff done. Now you have other players like like Saint, Seal. Well, no, I'm not gonna say Seal. Saint, ATK, who actually do hardcore grind in the game and actually have characters that are up there because they have time to farm. In my case, doing the chaos dungeon every couple of days, running it back to back on like so many characters just to accumulate all the materials you have. The amount of materials you have throughout the entire week is just not enough. Even including doing the guardian raids is just not enough. And the reason why I say is because there's too many materials you have to keep in check in terms of like gearing your character. You have the tier 1 mats. I mean, you have tier 3 mats, and you have 3 different versions of those tier 3. You have the obliteration stone, you have the destruction stone, and you have like this new one, the one in the middle. What was the one in the middle called? This one right here. Like the protection stone, or this one, the obliteration stone, and then you have like the crystal destruction stone, and then this one you have like the refined obliteration stone. Like you have all these materials you have to keep in check, and you have to keep this stuff in check because the fact that you have to garner this stuff over time. Then you have the requirements that are for honing your character, which you have to have the honing, and then you have to have the balance. So every time you see you tap the button, you lose 14 or even more shards for every tap. 20 set 20 28 or even more of the marvelously the radiant honor leap stones. And then you have the Aurea fusion material you have to get. You have to have gold, you have to have the silver, you have to have the obliteration stones. It's way too much to actually have all these things green lighted before you can actually tap the button. Honestly speaking, most games would just have just one piece of material you would need to even just tap the button. In terms of Lost Ark, it's way too many at this point. If they could just farm for just one material only, or just two free materials only, and not have to worry about the silver, the gold, the shards, and all this other stuff, it'd be much more better for me to actually start farming in the game. Now, announced to that, it's really difficult farming in the game for just one class. Now, one of the things people go around saying that you don't need to have like 6 classes to play the game, whatever. That's understandable. But if you want to be able to actually be at max level or even get to that kind of into like those high tier levels, you need to like farm efficiently in the game. So that means doing like your life skill stuff doing your unas, and then make sure you play all three of your all six of your characters, get the goals out. You have to make sure you do your challenge guardians, the abyss, the challenge abyssal dungeons, and then you have like what, I think that's pretty much, well, one of the two. And then you have the islands like Primal Island that give you stuff, and you have the Chaos Gate also. Not to mention you have the field bosses also you have to do, and so on and so forth. It just looks like busy work that makes it feel like work. But what I'm trying to get in here is there's a lot in this game to do, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot. So when you're a new player, you have all this stuff. You have the unas, you have your skill points, you have your all the stuff you want to get for your character as fast as possible. Most people won't even get that far in the game. They'll just probably quit after getting level 50 and get into like most likely like 14, 60, and then not being able to get into bikes or some shit like that. And then they have the requirements where it's like if you don't have the title, you're not getting in. If you don't have your gear at like um purple status, you're not getting in. Your accessories suck, or like you don't have 5x3 plus one, or you don't have level 10 gems, or you don't have LOS 30 and something like that. uh, there's many factors. I don't know if the devs actually take the time to even go in the community, disguise himself like most people, like most wasn't most. There's some devs that actually do disguise himself and actually play their game on a daily basis to actually figure out what they could do to improve the game. Now in this case, with this game, I myself is just too much of too much. I want stuff to be categorized in sections in terms of getting stuff done properly. So what I mean by that is your progression system needs to change after a certain amount of time. We're not like we don't know if we're getting like a high a honing buff, because I think yeah has a honing buff to like 1580. We don't have, I don't think we have that from the list. What they say, like we're getting like a lot of shit for the Soul Eater, which I'm planning to make. But let me tell you a little bit about my setup for my characters. I have about, including Soul Eater release, it's going to be 21 characters. Why do I have so many characters? Why? When I started playing the game, and I was doing like, and it was just two Guardians and two Chaos Dungeons, I did those unrested every single time. I did both of them. Every single day, I would run both. It would take me like about 6 to 10 hours to get that stuff done in a day, and it was time consuming. I could not do any of my Una tasks properly or any of my other stuff properly. By the time I was done, it'd be 3 days in to get it done. And even then, I'll have to go back because we have one left over, which makes no sense to me. I don't know why they don't have it just as four. The for the rest of the bonus is just 4 or 6, so that it actually just adds up properly. But there's always a one day you have to pass up and then do it the next day. Then you can actually finish the whole thing for your rested bonus. So in my character, my rested characters all have 5x3. And the reason why I did that is because of the chaos dungeon. You don't want to go in there. If you have no gems, the least thing you can do is to have a good setup for like your engravings, which is something I do right now, because I'm not gonna put gems on every single character as it is. Now I did play in Jumpstart. I made a 1540 destroyer. As you can see, I already have a destroyer here, but I'm gonna be deleting him for the other destroyer that's gonna come out. Now, one thing people have to realize is that if you don't have some of these characters, a lot of these characters doing Chaos Dungeon, then you may not be able to hit these high levels. And people could say, oh, it's bogus, it's bullshit. You can definitely hit these kind of levels in the first place if you just play the characters and fun on it as much as possible. And I can believe that to some degree. If you played the entirety of last year and you were bum rushing the entire time, you had a stacked up of materials and you only had the 6 characters, and you did your chaos dungeons, all your stuff every single day or whatever, and you had stacks of materials, or you had like another character you make for a guinea pig to just put in materials, and you use that as a way to like fund the materials to your characters, goal, and so on and so forth. That's fine, right? Everybody has a different method in terms of farming and actually accumulating the type of materials they need to. I'm just telling you as it is. For most people out here, that's not the same thing. We don't have like an Excel sheet about to spread out, bro. Like that shit is not gonna happen over here. As especially in like NA where we have content coming really fast. Like the next month, it happens in the middle of the month, and we get it, and then we have to bum rush to the next piece of content. And if you don't have like, you have two things that goes on in NA. You either one had to watch a video and puck the whole thing on day one if you're not there yet, and if you're not there yet, you know you're left behind because then you have to buy a bus. You don't have a choice. You can probably go do a learning run, right? If you get into that on your time to do a learning run, that's fine. But if you know you're not gonna be able to make the learning run, that means that you kind of shit out of doing the run itself, right? So you need to find a way to do the learning run or find a learning run. There'd be gonna be a lot of them. It probably be a lot of them during the time when you see you get there. If you get there in time before they all go away, and then if you get there by the time you see you get there, if you want to do the raids with like your buddies or whatever, they could probably help you carry that. That's if you have a static and so on, a guild that can help you. But if you don't, you're pretty much alone. So you only have like a few options you can do. Probably join the Discord or guilds if they can help you with that kind of stuff. But the chance of that happening is not slim, but it's not that high either. The other thing is what people do most of the time is like they go into a dungeon or raid or whatever, not knowing any of the mechanics, not even watching the video, and they fuck it up for everybody else. I highly don't recommend you do that. I I understand people like to do things blind, but not everybody is gonna be on the same page because the only fact of getting gold nowadays is through the goddamn raids. Don't know why that's a thing, and that's something we'll talk about briefly. The the consensus for this is like there's no way for someone to actually make a party and actually get a bunch of people to learn the raid itself, right? It takes time, and a lot of people are not gonna sit down for 3 hours waiting for people to come in to do a learning group. And then you have like the other factors that you join other people to do the raid. You have a little bit of experience by watching videos or whatever, and you can tell the group that, but they're most likely gonna either want to kick you out. But if they're nice, they will take you with you in the raid, teach you how to do stuff. But if you die, it's not gonna hinder the raid or the dungeon as much, then it'd be fine for you to actually be in there. But if not, then you kind of get the end of the stick. The other thing is when they see you lie about it and you go in there as a rat and then you just fuck up the entire run, which is not the best, but I mean it is what it is. Now with my account, I have, as you can see, I have a bunch of 1460s, and the only reason I have 1460s is to just do Congolanium. Because the reason why doing Congolanium, and I already calculated this, Congolanium gives you about 28 to 30 of the leap stones itself. Now that in just 5 days of doing the leap stones, you make about 3K of those leap stones alone with the amount of characters I have. Now with that being said, you're probably making like about, I believe it's 500 a day, almost 500 a day, if you do all your characters for just doing Congolanium. But I split my characters up to do Congolanium, and I put the other rest to do Hanamatan and Sunavel also, right? So I could do Kaliegos, but I don't want to bring any characters in there to do Kaliegos that don't have gems, especially when they don't have gems, because it just makes it a lot difficult for people to actually do that. Especially when, even if you just have a 5x3, it doesn't mean the character is strong. And even if you have your cards, it doesn't mean the character is strong. You need to put some gems on the character. But then again, you can do the the Guardian Ring without gems. I've done it before. Now the other thing is that I'm kind of pissed off with the devs, especially is when they say like they're talking about like the whole class change ticket. If you're not gonna give us a class change ticket, the least thing you can do is to make it easier so we can gear up the character, gear up the characters, gear up the classes, and if we don't let the character classes, make it more easier for us to transfer some of the stuff out of the character onto new characters or existing characters that we have that already are at that level or close to that level. If you're not gonna give us that, I have no idea at this point. Most games have class change tickets. Even Final Fantasy has this shit. I don't get this. Like in Final Fantasy, you don't really have it. You have the boosting where you can boost a class all the way to like level 80. And if you don't like the class, you can literally take the gear off the class and just put on another class. Is some of the gears actually coexist with other classes too in Final Fantasy? It's just not that difficult. Some of the games where it's like the class is shit now, let me switch over, which they can do. Like every game has a system like this, and I don't know why they so hell bent to making systems like this. Like they feel like they're about to lose money in the long run. In my opinion, if you have a class change ticket, normally people have to pay for it. Depends on how much you're gonna make the price for the whole class change ticket. I don't understand why that's not a thing. Because then you have people who class change, you tell them what's gonna be changed at a character. It'd be like it won't be the gear, it would be the skills, and that's pretty much it. Because that's literally it. Like just the skills, and you would get like these what's it called again? Those amulets to allocate your skills or whatever, right? And that's pretty much it. Because the reason being why I say you're not losing anything and it's not going to be a big deal is because the only thing that actually changes is the class, the appearance of the class. If it's a male to female, especially, there would just be the appearance of the class, and that's the only thing you have to customize. And then you have like the skill of the class, and that's pretty much it. Because it's not gonna put random, skills at level 5 for you on there. They have to give you the amulet. I don't see how so much that would be a big deal for a lot of the devs, in a sense, because you're not just gonna give them the class change ticket. You're gonna have them pay for it in the first place. I just don't get it. But either way, they have their own choice. Same thing, they have their own choice with the DPS meter thing. Now, one thing I can understand is like the goal thing that's in the game. I understand it, but I'm just here to say that is the most stupidest thing I've seen in my entire life. Oh, sorry, heard in my entire life. And here's the reason why. You're saying that there's an inflation in the game, but there's so many things that we spend gold on. And I'm just like a trinkle bit of gold, a massive amount of gold. People think like 3.2 to 5.1 million gold into the game. I'm sorry, like I'm like tired, by the way. They sink so much money of gold into just a weapon alone for one class. That's the thing I need people to understand. Whenever you sink in all of this money, all of this gold into one class, right? It's just one class. One character has to have all that gold just to hone a piece of weapon to plus 20, to plus 23, to plus 25. It doesn't matter what you're trying to get it into. It takes a shit ton of gold for just this one character, and you have to pray to God that you're zeal to get lucky in honing all this stuff. I say lucky in the sense of like basically like whenever he gets like a one tap between the two corresponding enhancements. But either way, there's so much goal sink that you don't have the ability to keep your goal. And then there's more stuff to sink your goal into. The quality taps, which they plan to change now because of the whole like chaos orbs they're gonna be having for the tapping itself. I'd rather you just take the gold out of that. We already have the chaos orbs. They just use that, the chaos stone, sorry. They just use that as a way to just tap the weapon. That's it. Like your solution is right there. You want people to do raids, they're doing raids, and they're passively getting these scales. And I have like 700 of these stones, and I have other chests that have these stones of other characters. Like I'm not even kidding at this point. Yeah, 720 and 27 chaos stones. If you want to make it like make quality tapping much more easier for people, just remove the gold costs. Legitimately, that's like the only thing you would have to do. Remove the gold costs, and you're pretty much just done. There's nothing else you have to do. Whenever you go to do quality taps on your weapon, you have to spend gold to do this quality taps. It makes no sense to me. And then you have other stuff that costs gold that's coming out with the elixir system, and you have the minesweeper system that's coming out, has more gold in intuitive into it. Not to mention, whenever you craft stuff in your inventory, not in your stronghold, you spend gold on that. You crafting stuff, you spend gold. You using the laboratory, you spend gold. Everything revolves around gold and not around silver as much. And I can't express this enough. You spend more silver trying to change a gem than you would actually spend it, using it for something else. Like, I don't know, anything else. That's like that's like saying like potions, I guess. What is the use of silver so far when gold is the primary dominant thing in the game? You don't know why like some of these games only have one currency, because it's too hard to balance both. Because you have to integrate both currencies in the game where it makes no fucking sense. So here's the thing. World of Warcraft uses a gold system. Final Fantasy uses the guild system, and it's just one. And then Black Desert uses the silver system, which is one, right? In every aspect of any of these games, I've never had a problem with the currency in the game or the amount I've gotten of the currency in the game. Well, subjectively, World of Warcraft is a little bit stingy on that shit because I played it for a bit, and I can all I really say is like no. I'd rather play something else. Final Fantasy has way more in terms of giving you back. But regardless, we're not talking about that. The amount you're spending on gold on certain things is ridiculous. And most objectively, it's going to be coming from the honing costs, or basically honing your weapon or your armor piece or whatever the hell. It takes too much gold to hone anything in this fucking game. It takes too much gold to buy certain things in this game. You might be thinking like, basically, I'm pretty much stuck on my ass. I haven't done anything. I haven't I haven't put my 2 cents into anything. I haven't done much in the game. Blah blah blah. I've been trying to play the game more effectively for the past year and a half now, or almost 2 years actually. Um, in NA specifically, my class is a sorceress. I only play sorceress because I like mages and I like using big AoEs. That's my whole stick. I didn't pick the class because it was meta, as most people say in the first place. And not to mention that if you don't chase meta classes in the first place and you chase other classes, those classes actually get downgraded to a point where they don't get into raids. We learned this stuff way back in like so many of the games at this point. Why they always say, "Oh, your class is shit." Now, besides that, with the whole gold cost and a lot of things that you have to do, we have the fions that we have in the game. That's another major problem, in my opinion. I'm still on the fence of saying remove this because it does stifle build diversity. Because I cannot say let me go make some wacky ass build that's gonna be funny, fun, or like really good, or make it sound like it's gonna like I'm making a build that I want to make specifically for my class to see how it works, because it's going to do a lot of damage or it's going to do a lot of stuff. I can't say that when I have this system here. You wanna know why so many games don't have a system that stifles build diversity? It's because no one plays the game like that. No one wants to play the game where they have to pay money in order to buy accessories or whatever the hell they need to buy in order to build a class up in the first place. It doesn't sit well with anybody at this point. I don't know why, like Smilegates does this. But then again, the only thing I can ever say is that they need to make money somehow. That's the only thing you can say. They need to make money somehow, and the skins are not the only thing that's gonna help them sell, make money. Basically, skins are fine when the mass of people buying them at a fast rate. But if you're not gonna be buying skins at any point in time in the future, or you just buying skins through the system of being free, like exchanging gold for blue crystals and buying blue crystal skins, then they're not making money at this point. They're losing money, so they have to have some way to actually gain that kind of revenue somewhere, which is hence the Fion system. In my case, I would say get rid of the blue crystal system, be done with it, be done with the Fions, and just give people the fact that they can actually build for free. If you're not going to do that, and you actually want people to actually buy the Fions, fix the prices on this stuff. Because let me show you guys this. Let me show you people how expensive it is for me to buy just $100 of rare crystals only. It cost me $152 to buy raw, to pay for just the $100 of raw crystal. I live in Canada, so this is Canadian dollars. So hold on, because I don't think you guys can see it. Yeah, there you go. So this is the amount of money I have to spend whenever I want to just buy 100, just 12,000 raw crystals, right? I spending $152. If I pay for two of them for about what's that? 24,000. That's almost $300 right there. 300 more. In the US, you guys pay $100 just for this stuff. Wait, 100 like 105? That's pretty much it. $210 for two of these. I'm paying like $100 more. And then you go to the royal crystals and you're spending, not even looking at the packs here, you're spending 4K for 4.5K for 2,000 royal crystals. How does that make any sense? This don't make no sense. In RU, they spend a little bit less of this, but then again, like, this is just the pricing of the fucking the crystals in the game. 940 for 400 blue crystals. 1.8 for 800 blue crystals. I don't know. I don't know. But some of the stuff I have been rambling on a little bit more, but I hope anybody understands where I'm coming from with this game. It's a little bit too hard to gear up a character to 1600. It'd be nice if it was easier. I don't want another honing buff on anything like that. What I want is a revamped system of the progression system to better, progress a character up to 1655 or 1650, whatever the hell. And the other thing is that we've gone through 3 stages of tier 3, if I remember correctly. Why not just make one set of materials that we have, or the 2 set of materials that we have to go for in the first place? Because having to go and pick up all these sets of materials that we have here is kind of counterintuitive. And not to mention, we have 3 different of these of the fusion leap stones, which surprisingly to me, it's I have not seen people say like they have been getting free taps as much, but I hope people are. And I say fucking good luck, man, because I've been getting shit from this stuff. I kept these as a reminder for this character because you have to go from this one was the first time when you see you land and you have to use this material, the on leaf stones. Then you have to upgrade to the greater on leaf stones. Then you upgrade to the marvelous on leaf stones. Now you have to upgrade to the radiant on leaf stones. I'm telling you, like having to go and pick up like all these. I'm telling you, I have to pick up all three of these materials except for the last one, right, with the smaller one, because I have to upgrade other characters using the greater on leaf stones to get it to 1490, and then from 1490 I have to switch over to the other materials and then get them all the way to 1580, and then from 1580 I have to switch over and then use this material to then forward them over all the way to 16 to like 16 what 1630 1650 whatever. Just at this point I would just combine one of the two to just make one. That's my own opinion. I don't know if they're ever gonna do something like that. I hope they come up to the conclusion of doing this. But the progression system needs to change in Lost Ark. It really does need to change. I don't want no more skins, anything like that. Well, I don't. I know the community want more skins and stuff, on skins and stuff like that. What I really want them to start working on is the progression of the game. Like show us like you actually changing the progression and not just coming out on the live stream saying, here's a free legendary costume for you guys and a free costume for you guys. They know they're gonna get the free costume. They didn't expect to get the legendary free costume in the first place. I'm over here, I'm mind blown because I'm not even saying like I want this stuff. It would be nice to have over here in NA, but regardless of the situation, I'd rather have more solid information. But then again, this stuff is most likely going to be talked about in the long one in December, which is like a couple weeks from now. I don't know when. Sorry, I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I know it's gonna be sometime as December. I said a couple of weeks because we're almost at the end of November, anyways. But regardless of that, if anybody else see this video, I say thank you. I really appreciate it. I have been rambling on. I didn't have a script for this. I just went on my sorceress, and I was just like, yeah. And if anybody asks me, okay, like if you're a person that hasn't spent a lot of money, I have spent money in the game, regardless of the situation. I have spent money in the game, and if you're telling me like asking me like how do I get all my characters like skins and so on and so forth, I have, but I spent more gold buying skins than I spent money buying skins, is what I'm saying. Because my war dancer that I have right now, the entire skins that she's wearing, I bought it off the market for like I think it was like a one of the skins cost like 35k, but it went up to 40. So because I had to get Fion to buy the 35k version because the other version, and that was for the weapon, and then you had the chest piece at the time was like a good what 17k, and the pants was like 11. Oh, sorry, I think it's 15, and then like some of the other stuff just accumulated, and I just took stuff that was on from other characters that I played. I played like my Scrapper and what my Glavier and all this stuff. So from them, I take skins and I make a combination of stuff that I have. I'm pretty like the skin that she's actually rolling with right now at the moment. So I can hardly say I don't spend as much money on skins as anybody else thinks, because I'd rather take that money and fucking buy gold. Are you kidding me, bro? So this is the skin that I have for my fucking Light War Dancer, and that's pretty much it. I could have gotten some better, but I don't have money like that to spend in the game. Sorry to say. And if I did have money to spend in the game, I wouldn't be buying skins. I would literally go to the currency exchange and exchange all that money for gold. And the reason why I would do that in the first place is because of the fact that there's a lot of things that cost gold in the game, and I need to have a shit ton of gold in order to progress some of these characters, and which I don't have that kind of gold. So therefore, that's pretty much where I am at the moment. Anyways, I'm rambling on. Anybody who sees this video, thank you. You can make your comments on the videos, whatever, critique it or whatever. I have been stumbling and stuttering a little bit because I didn't make no script for this. Um, I just want the game to do better and to actually feel better. I don't want to just be like a raid simulator, which it is, to be honest. Um, and I rather it is have gold interjected in other places. But I know people are gonna come on and say like, if you do that, the bots are gonna come back, yada yada, and stuff like that. I understand that, but we suffering out here as much as possible. I understand they want to kill the bots and whatever, but you're killing us at the same time, and you're making it much more difficult for us to even play the game. And that's why you're losing player base, you're losing your player base, and you're losing other people at the same time. So I rather they actually start taking up the mantle to do more stuff to bring these players back, or actually start making some changes in the game that's going to benefit people in terms of playing the game right now and the longevity of that.